Imagine, you are inside a dream, where time moves slowly, and every sound turns into a story. Keep your eyes closed, and let us begin. The storm came without warning. The wind roared like an angry beast, shaking the tall tree where a tiny spider named Luma had built her delicate web. Her home trembled, threads snapping one by one. Rain poured heavily, washing away everything she had worked for. In one terrifying moment, her entire web was gone. Luma clung to a thin branch, her tiny legs shaking. Below her was darkness. Above her, the storm showed no mercy. "I worked so hard," she whispered softly. "Why did it all disappear?" For the first time in her life, Luma felt helpless. Cloud with rain beginning, a dream built with hope. Before the storm, Luma was known as the most hard-working spider in the forest. Every morning, she carefully spun her web, thread by thread. Took hours of patience and focus. While other spiders rested or gave up halfway, Luma never stopped. Her web wasn't just a trap for food. It was her pride, her home, her dream. One day, a lazy beetle laughed at her and said, "Why do you work so hard? One wind, and it will all break." Luma smiled gently and replied, "Maybe it will break, but I will build again." Tornado middle, the fall and the fear. But now, hanging on that branch after the storm, her confidence was gone. Her heart was heavy. What if the beetle was right, she thought. What if everything I build always gets destroyed? For the first time, Luma didn't move. Hours passed. The storm stopped. The sky cleared. The forest slowly came back to life. Birds chirped again. Leaves stopped shaking. But Luma stayed still. A small ant walked by and noticed her. "Why are you not rebuilding your web?" the ant asked. Luma replied in a broken voice, "What's the point? It will just break again." The ant looked at her and said something simple but powerful. "If you don't build again, you've already lost." The words hit Luma like a gentle push. Sunrise turning point. A tiny step forward. Luma looked around. Other spiders were already rebuilding. Some webs were small, some big. But all of them had started again. Her heart whispered, "Try one more time." Slowly, very slowly, she released her grip on fear. She took a deep breath. And then she started. One thread. Then another. Her legs were still shaking, but she didn't stop. Every time the wind blew slightly, she paused. But she didn't quit. "Just one more thread," she kept telling herself. Spider web struggle and strength. Building the web again was not easy. The first few threads broke. The angles weren't perfect. Her body felt tired. But something had changed. This time, Luma wasn't building just a web. She was rebuilding her courage. Days passed. Each morning, her web grew stronger. Each night, she rested with a small smile. The same beetle came back and saw her working again. "You're doing this again," he laughed. Luma looked at him calmly and said, "Yes, because I know something you don't." "What?" the beetle asked. Luma replied, "I am stronger than the storm." Glowing star climax. The second storm. A few days later, dark clouds returned. The forest whispered in fear. Another storm was coming. This time Luma didn't panic. She looked at her web, not perfect but strong. The wind started howling again. Rain poured down. Her web shook violently. One thread snapped. Then another. But this time Luma didn't freeze. She moved quickly, adjusting, holding, rebuilding even as the storm continued. She didn't wait for the storm to end. She fought through it. Rainbow ending. A victory beyond fear. When the storm finally passed, something incredible happened. Her web was still there. Damaged, yes, but not destroyed. Luma looked at it with shining eyes. Tears rolled down, not of sadness but of pride. "I didn't just rebuild," she said softly. "I became stronger." The ant came back and smiled. The beetle watched silently, no longer laughing. Luma stood in the center of her web, glowing in the morning sunlight. She had learned something powerful. It wasn't about building a perfect web. It was about never giving up, no matter how many times life breaks you. Light bulb life lesson. Failure is not the end. The real loss is when you stop trying. No matter how many times life breaks you, rebuild yourself, stronger than before.